Hi guys, how you doing? And welcome back to Paper Talk on Stretford Paddock with Abdul. Myself, I'm here. And today we're just going to be looking at, mainly the next transfers since, AWB I was going to say, which Statman Dave has been filling my head in with that one, AWD. Aaron Wan-Bissaka looks like he's done, and we're moving on to the next transfers mainly. So we're just going to have a quick look at what was coming out last night in regards to his medical, and then we're just going to be looking at the next transfers coming up after that. But it looks like Craig Norwood has tweeted out last night, clubs have agreed fees on Tuesday night. It looks like it's the medical that they're looking over today. He travelled down with Wilfried Zaha's brother, who's his agent. They're currently staying at the Lowry in Manchester, so it looks like the deal should be done. Moving on to some of the other transfer chat, it looks like Harry Maguire, we might be pulling out of that deal as Leicester are demanding 100 mil, according to the Mail, according to the Sun as well. So I'm not too sure if that's really realistic from Leicester City. Can they get 100 million right now in this market? They must have looked at, Virgil van Dijk going for 75 million a season or two ago. So they must be thinking, if that's the type of player that you're looking at that can make a change for a top side, we should be valuing him at that rate sort of in this market. So I'm not too sure United should be going anywhere near above 80 million. You guys let us know as well in the comments what you guys think. Like I said, the Aaron Wan-Bissaka deal looks like it's going to be done. Personally with that, I do think he straightens us out a bit at the back, and someone who can hold the line a bit better. Defensively, he's brilliant. He's one of the most tackles out of any defender in the league as well. His most interceptions as well. So I do understand that at Crystal Palace you are asked to do that a bit more, especially when you play a flat 4-4-2. But I still think we need that centre-half alongside him. And Harry Maguire could be that guy, but anything over 80 million would be quite disappointing for Manchester United. It will show a lack of intent in terms of what we want right now in the transfer market. We want to be looking at younger players as well that we can sort of grow into the side. There's been a bit of talk about Ozan Kabak as well, who went from Galatasaray to Stuttgart mid-season. It's mainly looking like he's going to stay in Germany though, at Schalke or Bayern Munich, which would be quite disappointing that someone like that under the 20 million price range, you can bring him in, him and Axel Tuanzebe can battle it out next to Lindelof. That would have been a very good signing for Manchester United. And that's sort of the signing that if we can't get Harry Maguire for, that sort of price range under the 80 mil, then I'd like to see someone like that rather than, splashing all our transfer budget on that. That would be quite mental. And especially looking at it, I don't think Ollie's actually got the transfer budget that some of our fans think he does. And of course, you see that with the whole Glazer out thing online, and I think it's been driven with that as well, because United fans have expected signings, 3 or 4 to be honest. Myself, I would have expected 3 or 4 to be done by now. But next up, I think we could be going for a centre-half. Can we get something done like Harry Maguire? I'm just worried we get pulled into like a 90 million, 100 million with someone like Harry Maguire. I think he's a good defender. He's English. He knows the Premier League. He's played really well for England. He's good on the ball. An all-round brilliant defender. But 80 million, like I said, in this transfer market is quite, huge. So anyways, we're just looking at Lukaku next. Romelu Lukaku, it looks like Damasio has spoken about him. Who's quite a reliable source in Italy. His agent has been in Milan over 2 days now. We've seen videos of him, as you do in Italy. We don't get to see that a lot here, but they follow the agents into the buildings when they're having talks and all that. And it looks like he's been having talks with Inter Milan. His agent did say that it would be a dream to move to Inter Milan, and it looks like it's likely actually for Lukaku to leave. So on a personal level, the worry is if Manchester United don't agree a fee with Inter Milan and Lukaku does stay, you're going to have a player who wanted to leave, in the summer. Is he going to perform as well as, someone who really wants to be here, or one of the younger lads like Mason Greenwood who are coming through? You're going to be end up, stuck with someone like Lukaku who's low on confidence right now, and he clearly wants to move away and couldn't really handle the pressure last season. Does he work hard enough to keep his place in that side? We've seen that he does lack that, even though I'm a fan of him. And I do think if he goes into Milan, he will score the goals. So let's hope Manchester United don't haggle too much over the price. The problem with Inter Milan is that they can't actually pay the fee up front, straight away, the 70 million. So they're looking at doing a 2-year loan. A lot of Italian sides do tend to do that. And then, they have to buy him, I think around 60, 65 million, which is reported from Damasio. So that looks like, you know, that's quite a reliable source as well, Damasio. So that looks like a deal that could happen. If you guys let us know, who would you bring in to replace him? There's been some talk about Ben Yedder from France Football as well. So we're just going to move on to that. It says that United are interested in signing Wissam Ben Yedder. He has a 40 million release clause. I mean, he is 29. I think he's 29 now in the summer. So that is a concern in regards, you know, bringing in someone that you want. You know, you don't want that time to settle into the Premier League, and you don't want to rotate them too much. You need them to come on and score those goals. You have someone who's trusted there. Ben Yedder in Europe, brilliant. You know, he scored 2 goals against United in the Champions League when they knocked us out at Old Trafford. So we've seen what he can do. You know, he's a nippy little player in the box. I think he's been involved in 7 goals against the top 4 sides in La Liga. So I can see us, you know, going for a deal like that, and I think it would be a sensible deal. Like I said, the only concern is, you know, the age factor. For me, you know, he's someone that gives me a bit of an Aguero vibe. Not saying he's like Aguero, but, you know, sort of, you know, quick turns in the box and bang straight away. He's not the, you know, the biggest of players, but he's really clever in and around the box, and he does tend to work really hard, does tend to create as well. So that's someone that you can bring in alongside Rashford, or, you know, if you need a goal in the last 15-20 minutes, it's not the worst option. And I think 40 million euros in this transfer market is a good deal for Wissam Ben Yedder. Yeah, like I said, the Harry Maguire deal, that's what's mainly popping up here for us. De Gea's the other one now at Paris. It looks like they're going, reports from Italy actually, from Damasio again, talking about Paris going in for Donnarumma from Italy. Now that's 50 million pounds, I think that's been reported, and I don't think Milan are going to turn that down. They do need to spend in this transfer market, looking at that, what they want to do. So I can see them letting Donnarumma go, and he hasn't had the greatest of seasons. Yes, he's a great prospect, and he has shown, you know, what he can do at such a young age. So I can see that happening. Now, just moving on to, you know, De Ligt. You know, there's a lot of talk in regards to him moving on to Juventus, and then a lot of contract talks and all that. So United could be driven away, you know, by some of the contract talks now, because it looks like the BBC did report that he sort of said a straight no to Manchester United. A lot of our fans got excited when he said that he used to wear a United shirt with Ronaldo at the back of it. So that doesn't help, because it looks like he's most likely going to Juventus. You know, I don't think it's a sensible signing for him to go to United right now. It makes sense for him to go to Juventus. He's guaranteed the league title there. Juventus are clearly looking to build something. They bought in Aaron Ramsey. They've bought in Ronaldo last season. You know, experienced players in Europe. You know, you got arguably the best player in Europe in Ronaldo, most clutch player in Europe. So in the later stages of the Champions League, this could be the time that Juventus finally win that Champions League. They got personalities coming back like Buffon. Everything being built there. If I'm De Ligt, I'm moving there. So I'm not too sure if we can tempt him last minute. And, you know, like I said, once the reports in Italy coming from Damasio and all these guys over there, it does tend to happen in the end. And, you know, we all know Raiola looks for a paycheck, so that can end up changing at any moment. I just don't think it will. The other chat is Bruno Fernandes. That hasn't left the talk at all. Everywhere you go right now, you look on the rumours, it looks like Bruno Fernandes, United have offered 55 million, according to the reports. I'm not too sure if, you know, Sporting are going to really, you know, sell him for that around that price range. It looks like they want to sell for at least 75. And Manchester United are apparently pushing Spurs alongside them, who are signing in Ndombele, who would have been a brilliant signing for Manchester United, around 60 million euros, who I think in this transfer market, you know, isn't the worst option right now. But if they do sign in Ndombele, that can take away from their budget. And I don't think Levy's spending over 100 million in one summer. I genuinely would be surprised. So I do think we're probably, you know, the team in this race, and I do think we'll end up, you know, with Bruno Fernandes if we push, you know, for that 60 million range. I think Manchester United apparently are haggling around 55. I don't think, like I said, Sporting are gonna, you know, really sell for 55 right now. Knowing these teams, even the Portuguese sides, you usually sell you cheap, and they look at the transfer market. You know, a hot prospect like Bruno Fernandes, the numbers he's putting up in Portugal, you'd expect them, you know, to really try and push for that 70 million price range. And let's just hope Manchester United can reach a deal, because I am worried that we'll end up with only Aaron Wan-Bissaka as our signing. I don't know. let's just hope at least that centre-half is our priority right now. So you guys let us know, would you be happy with Harry Maguire, over 80 million, which is what we'll probably have to end up paying right now? Personally, I don't think it's the right move. Bruno Fernandes around, 55, 60 million. Is that enough? Are those signings enough for us right now? I don't think so. Anyways, guys, I'll leave you to that. Make sure to catch us on our next Paper Talk and see you guys soon.